product-led growth at Radware. Radware is a cybersecurity company specializing in application security, network security, and application delivery. I'm not going to talk too much about security. I know the interest of the audience here, most are business. I'm going to talk about how you can safeguard e-commerce revenue by actually having application security business, right? I'll relate to most of the business pain point or the use case that e-commerce have, right? Most of my presentation will revolve around these use cases. So first of all, I don't have to tell you about India's e-commerce landscape. It is like hitting $4 billion and it's growing at 19% CAGR from 2022 to 30, right? So it's like everything is digital and like it's going on at that pace. But you can look at in 2023, the average cost of data breach in India, it's about 18 crore, right? This is one single average data breach cost. This is not far off from the global number, which is 3.86 million. We are like 60% to the global number. Still, this is the highest for India. It's an all-time high, right? And among these data breaches, etc., 54% constitute e-commerce fraud. And this comes from auto programs. We call it as bots or bad bots, right? I'll explain what that means. But I'll also refer to some of the public available breaches that has happened through bots, right? One is the Ticketmaster. You would know it's an online ticketing system in the US. Most of the people buy tickets through Ticketmaster for concerts, events, etc. During one of the events that for Taylor Smith, right? So when the tickets were launched, so the servers were down, right? So there is like tremendous amount of bot attack. This is claimed by Ticketmaster themselves, right? And this didn't allow the genuine fans of Taylor Smith to purchase ticket on a right time, right? So bot were trying to purchase some of these tickets, bringing their server down. This creates a lot of trust factor and like it depletes their revenue as such. The second is the Dunkin' Donuts. Again, it's a donut, but it's an online delivery website. So there's about 10 million records that have been lost due to account takeover attack, and they have to pay a compensation about 650 million, right? This is account takeover attack. That is an online scalping attack. So most are business-related problems. I'm not going through each one of them, but these are publicly available data, and most of e-commerce in US, India are facing bot problem and incurring a lot of cost, right, based on multiple other things. So what does bot do, right? Bot do multiple things. I'm not going to go through each one of them. It does account takeover attack, meaning it is trying to log in on behalf of your genuine user, trying to get into an account. These bots are getting into a genuine user account and trying to breach something. It can be sniping their gift coupon, reward points, or personal data. It could be anything behind the scene after they log in. They do, competitors do want to understand your pricing strategy. So they write bots to understand your pricing strategy. They want to keep a pricing strategy in line with you or below you, right? They also scrape your content. If you have a rich SKU, they scrape your content. They also almost, without plagiarism, they try to alter the content and put it in their SKU, so that way you don't benefit out of the SEO, right? And there are more such, but I'll start talking about one, at least the top 4 in the further slides. But what is the motivation of this attack, right? Why do bot really attack? If you look at other security use cases, right, the attack is straightforward. They wanted to attack the vulnerability of the application. They wanted to bring down their website. But bot attacks varies, right, based on the intention of these fraudsters. So some wants to make easy money. They just go hack an account, get all the redeem coupons, gift cards, etc. They encash it, right? Some, meaning competitor, wants to understand your pricing strategy, so they do price scraping. Third, some wants to cripple your website. It could be activist, it could be your competitor, or it could be, let's say, in this geo world, the Ukraine-Russia war. So the Ukrainians don't mind bringing any websites of Russian down. It could be e-commerce, it could be anything. The motive is different there. It could be procuring your product if it's a limited edition product. Think about a Nike sneaker, right? A Jordan sneaker. So people want to grab these sneakers, sell it at a higher rate in a secondary market like eBay. So they do that, right? So they write bots to do bulk purchases, like how they do Tatkal ticket purchases, or how do they do big billion day purchases, etc. They wanted to purchase at a discount and sell it in secondary market for a better cost. And getting customer information, right? This is personal identify information. Your customer has given you the information, and it is important for you to keep their privacy. So their information should not be exposed. That includes their email ID, phone number, date of birth, or whatever is stored in your e-commerce. It is your you are in charge to safeguard their personal information. So these are some of the motivation of why a bot even attack an e-commerce. But as I said, price scraping and content scraping, if you have a rich SKU information, the competitor would obviously try to scrape them, enrich their SEO results better. For price scrape, they not only scrape your price information for many of their website, right? In order to know your exact price, you have to move the product into a cart, apply some discount code, and then you'll get the final price only at the time of checkout or at a final stage, right? So what these bots do is not only scrape the price, but also unnecessarily push the product into the cart, which means these are fake carts, right? These are abandoned carts. So that's something that I will explain. But if you look at some of the Radware data, this is a sample set, but we can clearly see, right, whenever there is a shopping sale, right? Here I'm referring to an global shopping sale, which is a Black Friday or Cyber Monday. So you can see enormous amount of bots doing a price scraping, right? So this is abnormal, and they wanted to know the competitor pricing strategy. As I said, the cart abandonment, so I mean, like, people would be happy to see so many user sessions, so many unique users, so many page views, so many carts being added. You wanted to do a go-to-market around these abandoned cart, right? So look at your cart, right? So these are carts. In general, the e-commerce, you can see that 30% of the traffic is bad bot, 50% is bot. There is also good bot like Google, etc. But the 30% constitute bad bot, and these bad bots are moving products to the catalog or moving products to the cart, and these are fake carts. And if you create your go-to-market strategy, or if you market around this abandoned cart, I mean, like, it's a waste of money, right? So you have to be sure to stop them moving to the cart, right? You need a solution to, first of all, stop all non-human traffic into your website. What this also do is, at the time of, let's say, sale, like Big Billion Day and others, right? Your competitor, yeah, this is well-known secret, right? Every competitor wants the product to be bought from their website, right? What they generally do is they keep adding the cart on the competitor side, so the inventory depletes. So let's say you have iPhone of stock 50. When you keep adding the stock, adding to the cart, right? The inventory goes down, and this denies the human to even log in and purchase that, right? During this time, they'll keep their inventory high. They know what products they are targeting, right? So this is a more competitive game here. It's not just price scraping, knowing only the price information. By moving the cart, or the bots moving the cart into this, you can also find that you lose competitive advantage. During the peak season, you don't have inventory to sell to your customer. And you can see, again, historical information. This is 2021 data, but shows a lot of denial of service attack, which is like inventory hoarding, we call it as, happening during that same time, Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Last, but there are so many other use cases too, but account takeover, right? So how does this whole account takeover works, right? There is credential stuffing attack, there's a credential cracking attack, account creation, account aggregation. Generally what happens is, let's say I have so many websites. I have 20 accounts in 20 different websites. Many don't intend to have a very unique username and password to all. They would be using the same combination of username password to multiple websites. Out of 20, let's say 5 websites. Once I compromise a vulnerable website, right, I get this username password. Now what bot does is, it will try to use this across the globe, multiple other applications, and see if the same combination of username password can be cracked somewhere. Once they understand the same combination can be cracked into, let's say, a username password used in Amazon can be cracked into Flipkart, so they get access into Flipkart, right? And there's a lot of data. There is redeem points, there is like a gift coupon and other things that can be scraped post that, right? And they can use those data. So it's important you stop account takeover. One, to ensure your end users' redeem points, gift coupons are not sniffed. Second, you ensure your end user's privacy is there. You're not supposed to let go bot scrape your personal identifiable information. And you can see on Cyber Monday and Black Friday, there's about 11 million potential ATO attempts that has happened on a site, right? So these are historical data, these are real data coming back from a security company like Radware, right? Where you can see an abnormal and a long volume attack that has happened during that time. Bot doesn't stop with that. When you look at the broader application security business, right, with a single stack of Cloud AppSec, you can also protect against payment card. So many people, so if you go to the gray market, you get the credit card that's available, millions of credit card, right? Many people or fraudster, what they do is, they go after each website, try this credit card with a low volume purchase, let's say $1 purchase, they see if the card is working, right? That's called as carding attack, right? So once this card is working with a low volume product sale, they pick this as a valid credit card and they go buy a bigger purchase, right? So this is how carding attack happens. And if you are selling low value products like $1, $2, potentially your website also would be at risk, right? So most of the card cracking can happen there. Generally, these guys don't try to use card skimming for a $20 or a $30 account, right? They tend to do it for a low value products. And distribute denial of service attack, right? So whenever there's a shopping season that's happening, and if your website is down, then all users are ready to buy, and if your website is down through a DDoS attack, doesn't make sense. You lose a lot of revenue there. So it's also important that you protect against all these DDoS attacks. And fake review is a common term in any classified, any e-commerce, anything, right? People want to rate their product higher. So they tend to use bots to do a better review, right? To do more stars, etc., right? They do rating and reviews based using bots. And recently, you can see mage cart attack is more like a form skimming attack. So you use a lot of JavaScript on your product. I'll probably talk about this in the following slide. So if you have a solution, in-house solution, or a depleted solution that's doing whack-a-mole, right? That's not good enough. You need to have a solution that has artificial intelligence in place. Else, right, you will end up having an inaccurate bot detection, which means you will end up penalizing a real user. So it's important to understand what is a human traversing your website and a bot, right? So it is important that you have a solution that has AI. And it's also important that you have a solution that have a broader threat intelligence, right? So you need to, probably a minute more, so Radware has a collective bot intelligence, right, which can be leveraged across customer place. The threat intelligence is important. And you can also reduce, it needs a managed service which can reduce high operational cost, right? That's where Radware comes into play. So we have we understand the end user's identity, and basically we understand the behavior. We device fingerprint each user, that way we avoid false positive. We know the intent of the bot. We spoke about intent of each bots in the previous slide. We have the threat intelligence or a collective intelligence, and we have semi-supervised machine learning program that can actually bring in a better AI that can solve your problem end to end, right? We only penalize non-human, which is bot, not the human as such. And you need a protection that covers all website, mobile, and application. That's important. And we do that with the industry's first mobile attestation, which means we only allow genuine users who are attested to a mobile device, right, to log in into your website. If they use a simulator, this attestation would fail. And we also device fingerprint each of these users, right? That's called as like secure identity. These are industry first. Probably 2 more slides. So we secure the APIs. So right now, most of your services are exposed to API. And API security is the most important thing in 2023, right? And the whole Cloud AppSec secures the API endpoint. And my last slide, recently you can see, I spoke about mage cart attack, right? Recently you can see that you've been using a lot of JavaScript on your website. These are third-party JavaScript, probably to give you better user experience like Adobe, etc. I'm sure they are all secure, but more and more when you add these JavaScript, you don't know how your information is passed on in the client side. Your IP address, your user information, all is like passed on. So it is important that you protect your application from third-party JavaScript if they are vulnerable to certain attacks, right? So it's also important. So that way, all you need is Radware's complete application security solution that stops the multi-vector and multi-layered attacks. sometimes bitter is truth, but many of the businesses don't know what their real users are, what their real traffic is, what their real product carts are. They think that all carts, that is, all products onboarded on the cart are all human carts, and what kind of fake purchases is happening. So Radware can help you differentiate human versus bot across this pyramid. Please do reach out to us if you need a free assessment. You don't need an integration. You don't need a cost involved in it. We will do an assessment and tell you how much you are impacted, meaning how much bot you have and what it does, right, to your business. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions.